Faithful cult believers will ask, why didn't somebody warn us? By M. October 29th, 2023.
They never seem to ask, why didn't God warn us? Though they resort to frenzied pairs to the same imaginary, all-knowing, Sky Daddy who must have let the tragedy happen.
Swarm of quakes besets Italian town as supervolcano rumbles.
Here's what a recent Google search revealed. The above quote about an eruption being unlikely is by volcanologist Sandro De Vita.
However,
Local resident Felice Goloro acknowledged the likelihood of an eruption, but prefers to rely on the fairy tale deity to save the smoke and suffering. Sulphur-filled day, it will be chaos, we will entrust ourselves to God. After some catastrophic tragedy, faithful cult believers have often chanted the "Why didn't somebody warn us?" mantra. Strangely enough, they never seem to ask, why didn't God warn us? Though they resort to frenzied payers to the same imaginary, all-knowing Sky Daddy, who must have let the tragedy happen, not exactly a textbook example of logic. Of course, these events occur as a consequence of humankind ignoring decades of warnings, prophecies and predictions based on the immutable law of cause and effect, which is indeed an example of logic and a law of physics. Here's a specific example of such a prediction, that is to say, event that will occur with certainty from Sfath in his September 1948 predictions. 224. Also the caldera, that is to say the supervolcano, Phlegraean Fields in Italy, is already making itself more and more noticeable in order to tear open the earth in the distant future. So we can ponder how close the distant future, foretold in 1948, is, and if it may be drawing nearer than Sandro De Vita's near future. We will also see if delusion and denial are not the exclusive domain of the religiously deluded. Foretold in 1981. The following is from the Patahli Prophecies, November 19, 1981, and also appears in Billy Meyer's book, 100 Atomic Suns.
Man is not interested in the truth, but in lying cult politics and falsehood through which the Third World fire ablazes and millions of dead from mankind demands. For this Europe will be the central point, where glistening the deadly spark alights. In Germany alone, where life still blossoms, 100 atom suns are ablaze, which emblazing everything will destroy in screaming fire when people will die. Irresponsibly the world powers will twist to see that the Europeans the world fire will see, by which the lands and life will die, when thundering atom fires will burn. The mighty ones of the world powers they play, by which the subordinates lose their life. In safe bunkers the mighty ones will hide, while the subordinates unprotected spend the night, by which they are doomed to death, but the mighty ones survive in the bunker closet. Those, the great ones of the world, poker for power, and each one of these laughs up his sleeve, because united they throw down the deadly fire onto peace-searching Europe as their hire for the efforts of Europe for a lasting peace, which for so long is searched for down on earth. Many atom deaths will waft across Europe, while chemical and bacterial bombs fall down. Radioactive rays destroy much life under neutron waves the lands shake. A slow death they tortuously spread, which for days, months and years will march ahead, but still more manifold deaths stalk about, and Europe slowly will be empty of man, because the mighty, the irresponsible ones, will not raffle their Auenland off for war, but far from their own home in Europe land, they quench their power greed in the Third World fire. So Europe becomes the play ball of power, when death of the world fire laughs, when the mighty ones in safe places hoard reports of victory and ruin about Europe and the people who will die.
Excerpt from The Silent Revolution of Truth, 2007. Billy Meyer's prophetic warnings about the coming, unwinnable Third World War with Russia, China, Iran, etc., that completely destroys the US. The warnings first appeared in the Enoch Prophecies published in 1987. The Way to Live. Nobody wants to hear or be the bearer of bad news, let alone really bad news. Of course, very few people pay attention, prepare, let alone take action to try to avert or divert those events that have already taken some form and momentum. The reality is that the most fundamental changes in human behavior, in thinking, are required in order to mitigate the now unstoppable events, to assure humankind's ultimate, long-term survival and continuing evolution on our world. Quite obviously, at least to those who are rational and logical, the primitive, mind-enslaving, fear and aggression-promoting belief systems, religions, sects and dead-end, poisonous political polarization, etc., hold no answers. Neither does the adolescent dependence on a technology will save the day approach. We are already deeply down a dark hole where the development of AI will prove to be yet another ill-considered, contributing factor to threaten our survival. Human beings fail to sufficiently consider their own limitations, morally and ethically, when creating and letting that genie out of the bottle. There is a way to live indeed, to survive, thrive, prosper, and live in peace, love, freedom, and harmony. Not through impotent prayers, superstitions, ridiculous rituals, and desperate hopes, but by proceeding to learn that way to live. Based in truth, logic, wisdom, and self-responsibility. Free of all never proven to be true beliefs and reliance on outside sources.